everyone, and welcome to the summer edition of Folks. Beginning today, we will be sharing with you some of the stories we have featured over the last year or so. Our first story features four women who work in a non-traditional job. They are police officers, and even though we are seeing more and more women in that role today, there is still that lingering question as to whether or not women can really cut it as cops.
Meet Brenda Macelli, or maybe I should say Officer Brenda Macelli. You see, Miceli is a cop, now in her 6th year with the Baton Rouge Police Department.
I was a divorced mother of 2, and I needed a better paying job. So this was it. It paid almost twice what I made at my other job.
Miceli is one of 78 women serving on the Baton Rouge Police Force. Another is Barbara Butler, an 8-year veteran.
I thought about serving the community, making my contribution to society.
The police force in Lafayette is about 160 strong. 8 of the officers are women, like Terri Richard and Bernadette Griffin.
Basically, what attracted me to police work is that I've always liked the leadership type role. And, you know, police officers' role, you know, you are the leader. You more or less, you know, guide the people that are going wrong. And I enjoy that position.
In '75, I wanted to be a police officer. And I think then it was just the interest and the interesting aspect of it and the challenge, okay? Then later on, I became a rape crisis counselor, mostly because I was molested as a child. And being in that aspect of it for a year, a rape crisis, I had a lot of contact with the police, and that's what really made me want to become a police officer later on.
Years ago, when women first expressed an interest in police work, the initial objections were they were too weak physically and couldn't handle the stress. Well, times and attitudes have changed, and women wearing police uniforms today are finding it easier to function in this predominantly male arena.
I've enjoyed it. So far, I've really enjoyed my job. I haven't run into any major problems or any difficulties with, you know, that I couldn't handle. Or if I ever came up on something I couldn't handle, there was always somebody that helped me.
I've been told many times I belong at home taking care of babies and cooking. I don't belong here. But those people are few and far between. That's mostly the older officers that tell you things like that.
It's challenging. It's not hard. I'm a type of person that can get along with anybody. And it's not hard for me. It really isn't. I have a good sense of humor, and I think that is one of the things you have to have.
Sooner or later, you knew you had to prove yourself. And sooner or later, you would prove yourself. And then you were able to establish a better relationship.
How has being a cop affected these women personally?
As far as friends, I think my friends kind of, you know, view me, they see me differently. And it's not that I treat them any differently, but it's just that I don't know if they're intimidated by me or what, but basically I still have the same friends that I've had. It's just that I don't see them as much and things like that. As far as family life, I'm not originally from Lafayette or from Louisiana. I don't have any relatives here. But everybody, you know, they pretty well accept me for what I am.
When I was working shift work, family life was almost non-existent. My kids were in bed, or they were at school, or they were somewhere else when I was at home. I've been assigned to a beat now that's straight days, and that is a big improvement. But police works hard on family life. It's very hard on it.
It's fun at times, depressing at times, interesting all the time, constantly changing. I have a husband and 2 kids at home. It's taken the point where he has to do a lot of work, but he's a good dad and a good husband, so he doesn't mind doing it. So he washes clothes and does all the stuff at home too. We do it 50-50.
Like Terri, many female cops patrol the streets, sometimes in a squad car, other times it's on foot talking to business owners. The job of a police officer is demanding, dangerous, and often thankless. Doubly so if you are a woman, because there are still a lot of people who aren't used to seeing women in uniforms.
It's like shock, you know, from some people at first. It's like, I can't believe it, you know, they have a woman police officer, but they're getting used to it.
Usually they like it. Some go, what are you doing here? You're a police officer? You know, the older people, you know. And then other ones, you know, guys especially, you want to arrest me? You know, they volunteer. But no problem, really.
Nowadays, it's quite common to see a female officer, and most people find that women are better at taking care of certain situations. They can understand things just a little bit better, and will take maybe a little bit more time than the male officer.
I've been on a lot of calls where if I had a male officer with me, I was totally ignored. I would have to step in and just take control of the situation to even to make my presence known. I have been just ignored on calls unless I would do that, simply because I was female and it's natural to look to the man to control something.
Which do you find more difficult to arrest, men or women?
Probably men. I think both male police officers and female police officers see that a lot of times the females are the ones that give a lot of problem, especially if they're intoxicated.
Most males are just harder to arrest because of the fact that they feel you are the weaker sex. But most of the time you can hold your own in a situation when it comes to arresting.
Women are generally nastier mouthed. They're verbally worse than men. If a man wants to fight with you, that's it. You know, you have to take your part. Women don't seem to fight as much as men.
To tell you the truth, I haven't had any problems arresting anybody. Everybody that I've arrested, for whatever reason that it has been, they've cooperated with me totally. They've given me no problems whatsoever.
How has being a police officer affected your life?
It's given me more of a leadership type role, you know, going back to your original question. It's made me a stronger person, and I have more confidence and belief in myself, you know, and I'm still me, though.
It's made me more of a person, a whole person. I just find it real challenging and interesting. I love digging. It lets you be nosy legally, you know, and it's fun, it's rewarding. You get to help people a lot, especially I like working with sex crimes and stuff like that. It's really rewarding because of the rape crisis background and my personal history, too.
Really? It makes you more aware of what's going on. You try and instill in your kids that certain things happen, certain times, be aware of certain things. And it just makes you look at life so much differently from what you would have done before, you know, without being a police officer.
Our next story takes us to the flea market in New Orleans. It is there that Sonya Masingale caught up with a man who has a unique talent for making jewelry.
At his booth in the historic French Market, Ronald Lane does more than just make pretty jewelry. His jewelry sometimes makes its owner's dreams come true. Any manner of things for sale can be found in the French Market, from the freshest fruit and vegetables to antiques and jewelry. But there is one vendor who is as likely to give things away as he is to sell them. Jeweler-philosopher is what he calls himself, and Lane is quite willing to give his work as an act of love. The beauty of his philosophy is felt in the ingeniousness of his work in gold, silver, copper, and brass wire.
I went to an arts and crafts show in my hometown. I'd never seen anyone work with their hands. I'd never seen anyone make jewelry. And I went to an arts and crafts show, and I told the man that I make jewelry. Him and his sister was making jewelry. I told him that I make jewelry. And he said, let me see what you make. And I went home and got some jewelry, and he said, you're a genius, you know. So he said, why don't you travel and put down that crutch? Your job is a crutch. You know, you're an artist, and you should get into your work. And he said, why don't you think about it? So I took about 3 to 5 minutes, and I thought about it, and I said, I will go. He wanted me to go to just on the road with him, and I went on the road. And I've been traveling ever since, and I learned a lot. I love people, see, and I learned a lot from traveling.
Where's your craft taken you so far?
I took my gift to the Lighthouse of the Blind in New Orleans here, and well, I just wanted to see if they could make jewelry, and they can. They even cut the cabochons, not these, but these are called cabochons, and they cut them and polish them. And if they can do that, They can make brooms. Why can't they make jewelry? And they make beautiful jewelry.
Originally from Lorain, Ohio, Lane has traveled the country and made a living from his jewelry. But his family didn't think it was such a good idea.
They didn't think I could make it, and they still don't think I can make it, you see? But I think it's they are trying to make me prove that, they would say that, Ronald, why don't you get a job in case you have something to fall back on? But I have to make it work. So I've seen a lot of successful people on TV and talked to a lot of people, and they said they stuck to what they were doing. You know, I don't want a crutch, another crutch. You see, I have to be good at this. I have to be the best. I have to prove it to my God, myself, and my people, and that I can make it, because I am an example. I'm being used as an example of what people can do.
What do you like most about what you do?
The people. You'd be surprised the energy that you get from people. You know, the love that we exchange, the knowledge that's been exchanged. You know, I enjoy giving to people. I enjoy it because when I give to you, okay, not to say that you don't give, but when I give to you, you will feel like giving to someone else. The person that you gave to would pass on like that. And it's beautiful. I've been giving all my life. And I can't stop, don't want to stop. There's nothing can stop me.
You've been billed by some newspapers as a jeweler-philosopher. How does that work?
I talk about loving and giving to each other, okay? I talk about, I tell people to give. I ask people to give because there's so much has been given to us. I put the beautiful food that I enjoy so much, the beautiful water. Each day I've had such a wonderful life, and I put it all into my jewelry. And that's what makes it so beautiful and powerful.
What do you mean by power?
It works. It have people to think more through giving my jewelry or selling my jewelry, okay? A lot of people said, well, I don't have a job. So I said, well, let me make a ring for you as a gift. You know, they get a job. They come back to me and tell me, I got this job. I don't know what it is about this ring. It's something that it's what I wish upon people. I wish the very best. There was a lady came through in a wheelchair and her husband, and I said, wait a minute, let me make a ring for you. I see a lot of people, I see unhappiness on a lot of people's face. And if I can contribute anything to your life, I'm gonna do it. If it costs me, I don't care, okay? So the lady came through and I said, I'd like to make a ring for you. This is called prosperity. I gave her the ring, it made her very happier, okay? And I didn't see this lady and her husband for another month. And when she came back through this market, she told me that she had been to see the Pope in Rome. They come into a lot of money, and she thanked me.
Lane creates his lucky jewelry while you wait, and is usually surrounded by a crowd of people who are amazed at his artistry. But how can he afford to give things away?
Well, my nature is I'm a giver. That is my nature. And what I give is not mine anyway, okay? It belongs to the Creator, the Most High, okay? And we all have a mission. We all have a reason for being. And that's one of my reasons for being, for the gift. The Creator gave me the gift, and I am to give to my brothers and sisters of this planet.
What's in the future for Ronald Lane?
I like to teach people. I really would love to teach people this craft because it's a powerful gift, very powerful. I learned so much from just dealing with this wire. You'd be surprised the energy that's in this wire and the stones. There's energy here. There's knowledge.
If you like gospel music, you'll love our next story. It features one of the most popular singing groups in the Baton Rouge area.
So right in this world, right in this world, so right in this world, so right in this world, so right in this world. Born in it, raised in it, live in it, die in it, so right in this world, so right in this world.
When you talk about gospel music in Baton Rouge a cappella style, the group most often mentioned is the Zion Travelers. The Zion Travelers have been around for more than 40 years now, and although some of the members have changed, Reverend Burnell Offlee is a mainstay.
They were organized during, I guess, must have been 1942. And, well, I got with them long in that time, and I've been with them ever since from then. I've been with them about 40 years almost myself. And so we just been working. After they got me in, I had many other groups that I was working in, and I had to get rid of those groups in order to work with that because I was overloaded. See, I had a group you called the Gospel 4, and that was right here. And I was with them for quite a while, for a number of years. And then I had another female group, was known as the Silver Leaf. And I had to put them down, and I was also with the president of the choir at my church. And so I served a long time. So when I got with the Zion Travelers, I said, well, we got to get moving. So we started moving and moving when I was with them about 2 years, and then I had them on the air, and they've been on the air ever since.
How would you describe your music?
Well, we don't use any instruments whatsoever. You know, I never did want to use instruments, you see, because when you're using instruments, it covers up the mistakes, and then it destroys the message that you bring to you. You see, every song that you sing carries a message, no matter what kind it is. It can be a blues, it can be anything, and it carries a great message. You take those folks singing blues, they get on that blues side and they're taking a direct experience. They get the mind buried in it. And so they can use a song sometime in a blues song saying, if I don't find my baby, I'll jump overboard and drown. You know, and some of them just get that weak, they think there's no other woman like that, and they got in love with that woman. And if they don't find her, they don't want to live. And some of them do just that, get up on the bridge and jump overboard in the Mississippi River and drown. See, because they don't want to live. See, it's a great message to take. Well, you see, the others can prosper from that. They can say, well, I'll think about this thing. I might can find another one just as good as that one. And so you just have to let that go. But now that experience to really get it, now they got a message off of that. Now, just like we singing spiritual numbers, my numbers, I sing them almost directly from the Bible. I could just name you songs, give you scriptures from it, where you take it, and you could just take any of those gospel songs that we sing in there and take a sermon. Just go ahead on and preach it.
If you haven't guessed by now, Reverend Offlee is the leader of the group, and he is one of the main reasons that the Zion Travelers have been around as long as they have.
It's a hard thing to keep choirs and quartets together. It's hard. You just got to be solid yourself. You just got to absolutely have your mind made up that you're not going to give up. You're going to go to the end.
During the week, Reverend Offlee makes music with his cab. It's not just any cab, it's a classic 57 Chevy.
I bought it in 57, and I've been running that car. Of course, I let it rest about 6 years at one time. Yes, I'd had more miles on than I have now, buying other cars, new cars, going along with the rest of the folks. And so I was kind of in bus business too, and had just bought a bus, and a guy hit me and tore up my brand new car and didn't have no insurance, didn't have no job, didn't have nothing. So nothing from nothing leave nothing. And I was just out of a car, and I went back and got my 57. And I've been running it ever since.
But on Sundays, he's with the Zion Travelers, making beautiful music.
I come to the garden alone. The dew is still on the roses, and a voice I hear falling on my ear. The Son of God voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'd stay in the garden with him through the night. Around me is falling, but he bids me go through the voice of war. His voice to me is saying, and he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to get together with us again next week for another edition of Folks. We'll see you. Bye-bye.